The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Step into the new when you drive a Chevy. It's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective, and find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Hey, welcome back to Missouri Sports Network. Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy, alongside here. Missouri Sports Network, as always, brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Labor's Local 663, the Bank of Billings, established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Labor's Local 663, Doak Propane, Great Southern Bank, Chevy dealers of the Ozarks, and Shelter Insurance agents, Grant Baker and Aurora, and Sean Holman in Lockwood. Pleased to be joined now on their first visit with the Missouri Sports Network, Ellington Lady Whippets head coach David Burrows. And Coach Burrows, thanks so much for your time today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Guys, 23-4 on the season, defending Class 2 state champions. Talk a little bit about the season up to this point, which has been very outstanding.
Season up to this point has been going really good for us. Definitely wanted to beef up the schedule this year and really see what we needed to work on and what we were capable of. And I think we were able to do that to try to make a pretty good run this season.
Talk about that schedule and what that looks like. Who did you add to your schedule? I see Battle is on your schedule. Who are some of the teams you added?
We played Battle, and then we played also St. Charles Lutheran, added Steelville. I want to say those are probably the main ones to really beef it up because, of course, we have South Iron is in our conference, so we see them a couple of times. So we've got a pretty tough schedule this year.
Tell us a little bit about your team. Obviously, what you lost off of that team a year ago, a state championship team, due to graduation, and how you've had to replace them, and who are some of the young ladies that have stepped up this year?
Well, we didn't lose anybody from last year's team. We got everybody back. Didn't have any seniors. We've got 3 seniors this year, and Laura Gore, Abby Harper, and then of course Gretchen Hackworth. And to replace those 3 that's going to be tough next year, but hopefully we've got some that are going to step up and try to fill their shoes.
What is that experience, of going to the Final Four last year? How much has that helped you this year, plus the fact that you beefed up your schedule a little bit?
It's definitely helped us because, last year, they had the asked them the first practice, what are their goals last year? And, a couple of them said, oh, we want to win districts. So, of course, I said, well, hey, let's set our sights a little bit higher. Let's shoot for state, and see what happens. Well, of course, they kind of laughed about it and said, okay. So we got to work and we were able to pull it off. So, of course, this year, not being the underdog anymore, having to play the role of bullseye on your back, they took it to heart and they wanted to play the teams that are going to challenge them and get them ready for the postseason.
Again, visiting with Ellington Lady Whippets head coach David Burrows here on the Central Bank of the Ozarks High School Game Day. Coach, tell us a little bit about your background. How long have you been at Ellington? Where'd you go to high school, college, and how did you arrive there?
I've started off at I went to high school in Arkansas. I'm from Forest City, Arkansas, and went to high school there at a private school, Calvary Christian High School, out of Forest City, Arkansas. From there, I went on to Arkansas State University, where I got my bachelor's and my master's, and I started teaching at EPC there in Lepanto, Arkansas, and started coaching there. Got a couple of state championships there as an assistant. So then I decided I wanted to venture out and kind of do things my own way. And so I came to Missouri and I started off in Lesterville, Missouri, and then I ended up here last year. So this is my second year. I was at Ellington in 15-16, and then left and came back last year. So this is my second year coaching them.
Wow. So you got state championship in your first year. What was that like?
It was special. I really enjoyed it. The girls, I mean, it's definitely them. I'm not gonna lie, I inherited pretty good squad, and just trying to build them and get their confidence level where it needed to be.
Outstanding. Well, tell us a little bit about your family. What's your family life like? What do you do in Ellington when you're not coaching?
Man, when I'm not coaching, I've got a 5-year-old daughter, and I mean she's my world, and basically whatever she wants to do, whether it's going outside, jumping on the trampoline, or even playing Barbie dolls, whatever she wants to do, I'm down to do it. And she loves basketball as much as I do, and she's their number one fan, and she's always wanting to go to the gym and shoot, and so I have to lower the goals so she can get some shots up and everything else. So she's definitely a part of it. My wife, she teaches here at Ellington. She teaches middle school science, and she's actually our bookkeeper. And it makes it easy as a coach when you've got your family around you all the time, rather than them doing something else and they're at home while you're at the gym all the time. So it definitely makes it nice that my wife teaches and my daughter's really involved with it. So it makes it fun.
Now, tell us a little bit of your Class 2, District 2. Tell us a little bit. You had East Carter and then Alton. Take us through that district game, and talk a little bit about Naylor, who you played just last night.
Yeah, we faced East Carter, and we knew they were going to be a tough draw for us in the semifinals, and they gave us all that we wanted. I mean, our shots weren't falling that night, so we had to rely on our defense. I think that night we went 2 of 16 from the three, something like that. And I mean, we couldn't get anything to fall. So we just had to really rely on our defense and get some rebounds and stops and get out in transition. And they stepped up and they were able to do that. And so we were able to move on to the next round. And getting into that district final, they knew what they had to do. They had to start making some shots. They had to play a lot better than what they did, and they really had to get fired up that first quarter and let them know how serious we were about trying to get back to Springfield. And they came out fired up, knocking down everything, and really, really took it out of hand in the first quarter, the way that they came out that game. And so they really enjoyed that. And so on to Naylor last night. We struggled from three, but I think a lot of it had to do. We kept looking at the 3-point lines, how there's 3 of them. We kept telling them, hey, shoot from the yellow one. Well, they would back up to the white and still 2 feet behind the white. And I'm like, man, that's why they're not getting there, girls. Y'all going to have to scoot up or look to the middle. And then, of course, Gretchen got in foul trouble, and that hurt us when we had to put her on the bench. We went through spells where we couldn't make anything. And when she got back in, she said, I got to go get a bucket. And so she basically took over there in the fourth quarter. And I think she got, I want to say 9 or 11 of her points came in the fourth quarter.
Now you've got New Haven. What do you know about New Haven, and where's that game going to be played on Saturday?
That game's going to be played at in Sykeston at 1:00. Of course, failed to mention them. We played Sykeston this year at Sykeston, able to come out of there with a 1-point victory. So we've played on that floor this year. So that plays well for us. We really enjoyed that floor. We like the goals there, the atmosphere. So that'll be fun. But as far as New Haven, we've watched a little bit of film on them. They've got a little bit of size and things that they do. We like the way that they play. They play hard, and we're really going to have to come prepared and ready. That's our main focus right now. We say drills and get up shots and all that stuff, but these girls have got to watch film, and they've got to be prepared this late in the season. They've got to be ready for anything.
Again, visiting with Ellington and Lady Whippets head coach David Burrows here on High School Game Day, presented by Great Southern Bank. Coach, as you look at Naylor, you've seen them on film. Is there a team on your schedule that you've played that maybe you could compare them to a little bit for your kids?
I mean, they play a lot like Naylor. New Haven, I would compare them to Naylor. They, as far as what I've seen on film, as far as size and style of play, I could compare them to a Naylor or even an East Carter. They play about like I would say East Carter does, the way they like to pressure the ball and things like that. So that's who I would right off the bat compare them to.
Yeah, and I apologize. I said Naylor. I meant New Haven. But
That's fine.
Coach, at this time of the year, being basically about 30 games into it, 5 months into it, are you guys relatively healthy now?
Yes, we are actually real healthy. We went through a spell probably December, January. One of our guards, she was really sick. I mean, she was running fever all the time, things like that, and we just couldn't get her healthy and couldn't get her body back. And finally, we made her take a few weeks off and get real healthy, and now she's back and she's playing really well right now. So, as far as healthy wise, we're really healthy and they're really hungry.
Very good. What are your plans between now and then, and about how far of a trip is it for you over to Sykeston?
It's about a 2 hour drive, uh, and just basically practice and watch film and get them ready because they're ready. If they could, they'd play today. That's how hungry they are, and they're ready to play.
You bet. Well, Coach Burrows, I certainly appreciate you being generous with your time, and uh, had a great opportunity here, first experience for you to be on the Missouri Sports Network, and I really appreciate you, coming on and filling us in about Ellington. And I'm an ambassador. I've got my ambassador shirt on, uh, and for the Final Four, so I'll be there if you guys make it. We'll get to meet face to face.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate you very much.
You bet. Ellington Lady Whippets head coach David Burrows. Keep it right here on the Missouri Sports Network, where everyone has a home field advantage.